guys, welcome to week 2. I want to do a quick recap tonight about what I noticed in our week 1 postings, and then also give you a rundown of key tasks for this week and things to focus on and to draw your attention to on our Moodle for the week, and then hopefully give you a little bit of a preview of what's coming up in week 3. So just to start out, I'm going to take a peek at my notes here. Last week's work with the posting of our introduction video and the readings that we did around the 2 research articles talking about online education. I thought the videos were a great introduction to everyone, and hopefully you see those as good practice for what you will hopefully do to introduce yourself to your Westfield students. So that idea of the question that was asked in one of the articles, one of the research questions, asked what can instructors do to enhance the online learning experience for students, and I think that the big idea about social presence as a way to build trust and build community so that people feel connected to the course in that online setting was really demonstrated in how you presented yourself in those videos. So excellent job on that. Also really appreciated the thoughtful postings that were going back and forth around the thread that Michelle started for us. I think that Bloom's taxonomy of digital higher order thinking is going to be super important and useful as we go into this week planning instruction. So if you didn't get a chance to look at that closely, I would certainly pull that back up and pay attention to it and think about what can you be doing as you are planning activities that will help students get to those higher order thinking skills. I also really appreciate Nikki, you noticed that I was staying out of that conversation, and I am staying out of the conversation purposely. I don't want students to rely on instructor and it become a kind of ping pong question answer back and forth. You guys are doing a fantastic job of pushing each other's thinking a little bit and joining in the conversation. I'd like to see everybody in there as much as possible, and appreciate how you're responding as well to Rebecca as our co-teacher. She's doing she is really good at pushing your thinking and has so much good experience doing this stuff that I would encourage you to ask her lots of questions. So moving to thinking about this week's tasks, you will notice that our big push this week is to start thinking about our backward map for the unit that we're going to be teaching, and to also be pushing toward our classroom management plan. Your classroom management plan is actually already due next Wednesday on May 29th. That's in your syllabus, so it's not a surprise. But I really hope that you will take the opportunity to recognize this process of backward mapping, how closely tied it is to your classroom management philosophy and plan, because those things have to be connected in order for your unit plan to be successful. It really needs to come from your philosophical stance. So this is your opportunity to really put into action what you say you believe about the teaching and learning process. So I've got some things available for you that I hope will help you think about that. Okay, let me see. This week's tasks, you will notice that there is a video posted called Avoiding the Rabbit Hole of Curriculum Mapping. And Michelle Trainer has already had our ED 420, and some of you will have that in the future. And this is a video that I created last semester using a tool, a Web 2.0 tool called Extra Normal, where you type in the dialogue and your little avatars have the conversation. So it's a fun little trick to use, but it's my tool to do some direct instruction around the process for backward mapping. The other so I would like you to watch that, and then I would like you to read Vatterot's chapter 6. If you all should have that text, but if you don't have it with you wherever you're located for the summer, I've posted that specific chapter for you, and we'll post the other chapter I referenced was Kelly Gallagher's chapter 10. You don't have that text, so I will post that chapter 10 for you about results-driven instruction. Additionally, as you are thinking about that backward mapping process, let's think about how this connects to your philosophy. And so the first section of your classroom management plan begins with your philosophy statement. I want to remind you, as the instructions say, to think about your image of a learner and the purpose of education. Think about the student learning outcomes that you want, regardless of what the content is that you're teaching, the specific content, but think more broadly. What do you hope to accomplish as a teacher? Any content could get you there. It doesn't matter what the content is. So I want you to think about what is it that you hope to accomplish with your students, and then how can you select anything to teach that would help get you to those outcomes. So we're thinking about a results-driven philosophy. What content could you teach kids that would get at your bigger philosophical goals? For example, and Rebecca mentioned this, posted in this with you, Molly, thinking about the big goals that you have this summer with cooking more and with going to baseball games and coaching baseball and working on your thesis project. How could you, how are those things, those ideas that you're working on in your thesis project or with cooking, how could you teach something to kids about how you want them to think about math using something you're already thinking about and doing a lot of? Could you teach anything? I know fractions are the big go-to thing with recipes, but is there something else that you could use, something that you're already connected to? I'd encourage you, Morgan, to think about what you did last summer with your social media project, your independent study that we worked on, and think about, could you use anything there to have kids analyze text? How could you help them maybe think about the difference between fact and opinion by using social media gossip sites? I mean, use what you are already familiar with to get at what it is you're hoping students will take away from their time with you, again, regardless of what the content is. That's the difference between being content-driven and results-driven. So Vatterott talks about that. That's what I want you to focus in on. As you are thinking more about your classroom management plan, I'm going to encourage you to look for some additional readings, and I'm going to post a few under the additional resources for you, but some things you might want to be reading around this week in order to work toward completing your classroom management plan. There is perhaps things around norm setting in classrooms that will help you both plan your unit this week and write your classroom management philosophy. Perhaps something around communicating with parents, discipline and assessment, which will lead into what we're going to talk about next week. This week's big goal is to backward map your big ideas, determine what content it is that you're going to plan around. But then next week we're going to be focusing in on the idea of instructional strategies, those activities that you're going to do, and assessment that will get at your long-range goals. How will we know if you're being successful teaching what it is you say you want to teach? Let me see if there's anything else. All right, so really this week is about determining what content you're going to teach and thinking about how it is you are going to plan this unit that gets you closer to living your philosophical statement. All right, I will be continuing to post some materials. I'm at home right now and don't have access to the scanner. So first thing in the morning when I get onto campus, I'm going to put in a couple of chapters for you on the additional reading around the classroom management side of things, and I'll post the Gallagher. In the meantime, everybody stay focused, stay with us, and I look forward to seeing and hearing from you in the discussion forum. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.